being a storyteller isn't straight. Obviously, it isn't opening up a book and just reading it. Being a storyteller also means that you've got lots of questions, I think. That's important as well. There are these faith stories that have come down to us, well told, well rehearsed down generations. And the danger is, we know what they mean. But I don't think we always know what they mean. We need to grapple with them. And so therefore, when you come as a storyteller to the story, yes, you've got faith that the story contains something, but you might not know what it is exactly. You've got some ideas. It might mean something to you. The parable of the sower is a good example, isn't it? And there's lots of elements in that story. And if you think it just means the one thing, and in the Bible there is an interpretation with a one thing, but I think there's more than that there for different audiences at different times. And the thing I love with children particularly is because they come at it fresh, and increasingly in schools very fresh because the story's never been heard before, they suddenly see something in it that's not wild and wacky, but something really deep that actually informs you. So the storyteller becomes as much a learner in the process as the people listening to the story. And that's guided my life a lot, actually, more and more. I think I was brought up in the Christian faith where I received the story as untouchable truth. And it is truth, but truth is an interesting way of describing it, because truth has lots of levels and depths, and we need to be able to access that. And story told in the way I've tried to describe allows us to touch those depths, surprising depths, keeps us fresh in the faith. Even when we've heard the story of Zacchaeus hundreds of times, suddenly, I never thought of that. And a good example for me was, did it with a year 6 group. Now in Scotland that would be primary 7 probably. And we talked about the story, we acted it out a bit, because that's another way in which it becomes tactile and touchable, as it were. And we began to wonder, what did Jesus say to Zacchaeus over the meal? It's not in the Bible. We don't know what he said. We know what happened because he was at the meal. We know what happened before the meal. And so people were wondering about it. And suddenly one of the children just said, a year 6 child said, I don't think Jesus said anything. Just the fact that he was there blew Zacchaeus away. Just the fact that Zacchaeus was welcomed by this rabbi, this man of authority from God, who that changed him. It wasn't words that changed Zacchaeus. It was the fact that Jesus graciously said, I'm going to come and have a meal with you. Now, perhaps you've already thought that, but I hadn't seen it so powerfully before. It was that year 6 child that said, in other words, you don't have to say lots of stuff to draw people to a life-changing experience. It can be done without words. And that was from the story, from that same story.